Hello, hello. My name is Tony Chin-Quee,
And I'm Frances Mei Hardin.
and welcome to Social Rounds, the podcast in which two of the happiest surgeon dropouts you'll ever meet give our unsolicited opinions on the states of medicine, the world at large, pop culture, and whatever else we happen to find interesting. And Frances May, I have like a story to tell that just happened to me yesterday, which actually blew my mind. So one of my kids in school, right? She's in like pre-K. They call it reception over in England. And I'm on this group text, this massive WhatsApp group with all the parents. At some points, you get like really important information, like one of the kids has chickenpox.
Ooh.
And they were letting the people know. They noted the spots, but she may have been contagious the last few days, just letting you guys know to look out for it. And what ensued was a highly reasonable discussion amongst parents about vaccinations, how they were all saying like, oh yeah, because it's not part of like the childhood schedule here. It will be starting next year, but
Mm.
you have to like go to you have to pay for it to get the chickenpox vaccine for your kids. And so people were talking about like, oh yeah, we went out to get it when they were like 2 years old. They seem to be doing okay. Here's where you get it. Other people are like, yeah, we tried with our second one. The first one ended up getting it in nursery. It wasn't too bad, but we, try to keep our other kid away. They're not into this idea of, have a chicken pox party for all the kids. Like I was waiting for that. I was sitting around. I was like, okay, when are we going to get real weird and real political and or fanatic on the WhatsApp group? And it never came. People were just fucking reasonable about health and vaccinations. There was no questions about, do these things even work? No one's putting any government drugs in my body, and I was kind of blown away. And my mouth is still on the floor that this did not evolve as it would have in, anywhere in America right now. That's my story.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Tony. I
Yes,
am
you're
going to
welcome.
say, today is our holiday special episode. You chose to
Huzzah.
start it by stunting on all of us, bragging about the quality of life and, living conditions that you get to enjoy.
I'm trying to be aspirational here, guys. This is what we could be.
It's
Anything fun on your end? Anything uplifting as you've headed into the holiday season?
I'm excited. I like the holidays, contrary to popular belief. I don't just sit in the dark and pass the holidays in the cold, heat off in the house. I'm a big believer in the manifestation board. I have my little magazines coming in. I'm going to literally, like I do it the old school way.
Doing the
Scissors,
vision board.
glue
Yeah, put it
stick.
together.
Yep. And
Do you do that every year?
I do, but honestly, I just started 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And so
Mhm.
obviously I can't prove like what exactly, chicken or egg, but the past 2 to 3 years is when I actually, like most of my dreams came true. And so I'm a big believer. I'm excited to do that. I enjoy crafting, and so making a concerted effort to also up my craft game.
Excellent. So we got to, what sort of crafts you into?
I made a couple Legos last weekend, and I'm gonna make another Lego today.
Yo, okay. So Legos are cool to me. I never really got into them as a kid, but like, do you get the massive sets
Yeah.
like that become big, things? And like, do they come with instructions? Like, how detailed are the
Yeah.
instructions? Or are you meant to
Yeah.
let your imagination lead you?
No, I also wasn't into Legos as a kid, but I'm enjoying them as an adult. I wish that I could say that one of my types of intelligence was like Lego intelligence, but no, this is not free play. This is literally my preferred type of relaxation activity, which is like a prescriptive. It literally looks like IKEA instructions, and the
Hmm.
pieces are I like, you get them sorted and then you just assemble it and it turns into like this next one I'm going to do
Something
is the
awesome.
Zen garden. So, just very fun. And then I'll have a
Cool.
Zen
Yeah.
garden at the end of it. I'm going to put that up in my office.
Hell yeah. Lego intelligence, guys, also known as like, what is it? Spatial
Yeah, probably
awareness
the
intelligence.
spatial, yeah.
And if you want to get up on what we're talking about, listen to last week's episode because we went really deep on intelligence and whether we have it or not. But yes, it's the holidays, guys. And that means we're here for you. We know you're around and listening. Maybe you got a little time off, maybe you don't, but we want to be in your ear holes and on your YouTube screens or wherever you consume us. And we're going to bring you some holiday cheer today, whether you want it or
Woo!
not. So, segment number one, social rounds, baby. This is where we become your life attendings because it's become abundantly clear that many of you out there are in desperate need of guidance, and we've got the kind of wisdom that only comes from running out of fucks. And I thought we could just keep it with some real, simple insights and tips for those of us who have to work the holidays. Because we've all had to do that at some point. Me and Frances Mei, we've both had to do it multiple times. If you're in medicine, that's just part of the game. But I think there's a way to work on Christmas or in these high holidays and not be a dick about it, and maybe even make it fun for you and those around you. So, Frances May, when you think about working the holidays, like let's first, like it's okay to be bummed out that you have to do it, right? Like I we get it. Was it like did you always have to do Christmases and Thanksgivings and all that sort of stuff?
Yep. Yeah, when I was in practice, I was alone, so every holiday,
Mm.
every year. So I don't miss that. And then as a
Ugh.
resident, especially because we were down a couple residents, that impacted like frequency of call and things like that. I really agree with what you said off the bat, which is that like we should be allowed to say that it sucks. I don't know. I think that there's this kind of like martyrdom where we're not supposed to say that. And then if you're on holiday call and you just acknowledge like, hey, this sucks, there's like probably somewhere else I'd rather be, people are like, well, you signed up for this. And they're like, it's such an honor that you get to do what you do. And it's like, okay, honestly, those are fine points. I just don't even think that they're reasonable responses to, hey, it's a bummer. It sucks to work a holiday.
Yeah, it totally does. And I think step one, just like you were saying, like you could say that to colleagues who are there with you. Like that's part of the deal of being working a holiday is that you feel even more in the trenches with other people because nobody fucking wants to be there. Talk to like your colleagues, your nurses, your anybody who's working on Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve or like what have you. Just let them know you see each other, and y'all are in this. And even like immediately from there, the day can start to feel a little lighter because it kind of brings a little bit of fellowship where, usually there isn't much.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how, like, we know this from tinnitus and, like, tinnitus research, which is that, like, the more you try to suppress or deny something that's, like, happening, then literally the more bothersome it's going to be. Like, it
Mhm.
literally amplifies it to do that. So I'm very much a big believer in, like, call a spade, process it, integrate it, move on.
The other place you can find some joy, honestly, especially if you gotta like you're on call, so like you're going into the hospital, is to recognize it with your patients. I can't remember many bad patient experiences I had on Christmas Day with people who are in the hospital. Like they knew this was coming. Nobody wants to be there on Christmas Day. No one wants to be in the ER on Christmas or whenever. And just acknowledging that, when you talk to people, helping them navigate being away from their families, or being away from their hometowns. Just talk with them, carve out that extra. It doesn't have to be a lot of time. It could be 30 more seconds in your interaction that you show interest in the thing that's clearly on their mind most. They're not thinking about how sick they are that day. They're thinking about I'm away from my family and this is a special time and it really bums me out.
Yeah, I second that. That was my experience as well. I think that that's a good point to lean into that. And then the last thing that I would say is just that it helped me a lot to know that I had my own way of celebrating or my own plans on the horizon. And that was
Mhm.
really important. And I'm lucky because I just, it was really just me and Colin. He wasn't celebrating without me on the holiday when I was gone the whole time. I think that that's kind of a privilege because obviously if somebody had like a big family and they just missed the big family event, like that might mean that you miss it. But we were agile. And so we very much just, I lied to my brain and said it's going to be Christmas 6 days after Christmas. And then we celebrated as such.
Yeah, and I think that's really beautiful, and that point I think is a brilliant final point, like, when you're in these jobs that will often require you to work on days when it seems like the entire rest of the world is not working and it all seems unfair. And you've come up with certain traditions and rituals in your family and friends growing up. Um, Treat it as an opportunity to come up with new rituals and traditions.
I love that.
Yeah, man. So, guys, Merry Christmas. It's gonna be great, and you can make it. Now to our next segment, which is outside baseball. This is usually our news segment, but this is kind of a year-end list um, segment today, in which we're going to give some rapid fire takes. So just hang with me for a second. So we're following along with some things that are, like I said, marking out the start of the holiday season. I love year-end lists. I love movie lists and book lists and video game lists. But for this particular one, we're following up on a discussion we had with Dr. Ryan Montoya, our third co-host a few weeks ago, and super fan of the pod. And we're jumping into a list I found on the internet called "What Did We Get Stuck in Our Rectums Last Year?" So this is a list compiled by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's database of ER visits. So it covers like the consumer products which were reported to have entered and gotten stuck in the holes of the nether regions. And I thought, since it is the season of giving and receiving, aka it's we can call it what it is. It's a season of insertion and also a season of understanding. We could play a quick game of what I like to call "That Sounds Reasonable." Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you, my friend, 3 true descriptions of items or scenarios of things found in a body hole over the last year. And you will choose the one that seems like the most reasonable, like the one that under the right or like most terrible circumstances, you could see yourself doing if you had to. Or maybe honestly, you don't see much of a problem with it. So because it's the season of empathy, we're just going to jump into this. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Are you out of your gourd? Is my first
No.
question.
This is real shit. It's gonna be great, I promise.
Okay. I mean, this feels like a you and Ryan Montoya game, which I definitely like. You can try to play your game. I will say that the internet is forever. So it's one thing for us to be like, hey, we don't want to work in a hospital anymore. Like, they can't get us. I do, however, want to be employable in other places. And so that's going to obviously impact my responses.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. You don't have to say of these options, yes, I will do this, or sounds pretty good. I'm just looking for the option where you can kind of, what's the least, what's the option you can understand the most? And like if it came down to it, you get it, you understand. Okay.
Could be none. Go ahead.
And we're going by whole here. Okay. And guys, I want to remind you that these are all very true stories. So first, first is the penis hole. Merry Christmas, everybody. Listen with your children. Penis hole. Your options of things that were actually found in penis holes in the ER: thermometer, ring from a Powerade bottle, and a single AirPod. Frances Mei, do it. You can do it. Come on.
I would just rather eat a bug. Why? Like, I'm not on a reality TV show. Like,
But you're not doing any of this stuff. We're just talking about it.
The internet is forever. Which
Which
one's your pick?
Okay, here we go. So if I had to choose of these, the one that makes the most sense just from a raw insertion curiosity standpoint to me is I'd say thermometer. I go thermometer. If it's, and I'm assuming like it's like an old school thermometer, like the cylindrical thermometer with the mercury inside. Maybe that's even more dangerous. But I don't know. The idea of a ring from a Powerade bottle makes me terrified, because you're talking about the ring that's left behind after you take the cap off that
It's
has
like
all those
serrated.
little spikes. Yeah, it's got spikes and shit. I don't want to play with that. I don't want to play with that around the old penis hole. Yeah.
I just feel my mom watches this. I don't know if
So
your
does
mom
mine.
watches this.
Listen, we are just remarking on what's happening out in the world. And we're trying to understand, because I don't want these people are having their business anonymously, but they're having their business like put out in the world. Maybe they feel shame. And some of these things you shouldn't have to feel too much shame about. I understand people get curious.
I don't think that you should feel shame about any of these things. I'm very pro living your life,
But
but
you
I'm
will
gonna
not
plead the 5th.
you're
No,
gonna
I
plead
mean,
the
I'm
5th.
just not I
You will not play the hypothetical mind game of, okay, if I encountered or was in a situation to encounter any one of these, which is the worst, which is the least worst of the 3?
genuinely, I'm not trying to be difficult. They just don't seem reasonable to me. Like, I just need the audience to know there are no, like, softballs here. There's not, like, any
We
just
don't have
low-hanging fruit
softballs.
where it's like, just be a good
No.
sport, just pick, like, an easy, reasonable one.
I'll share the other options, and I will share what I think is reasonable, um, because, the people wanna know they're learning a lot about the both of us all the time, and I think people enjoy that part of our show. And we're gonna push the boundaries around Christmas time, just so you guys really understand where we're coming from. Okay, hole number 2, vagina hole. Okay, now these are the 3 situations that were found in vaginas this year. 3 of many. 1,
Yeah.
finger puppet. 2, curling iron, and I don't know the size. Or or 3, this is just a quote from the chief complaint, apparently at the ER, was roughhousing with her husband who lifted her up and accidentally dropped her on a hot dog cooker, vaginal bleeding. Now, I didn't know what a hot dog cooker was. So I invite you all to look this up and just take a look at the images that pop up. And these look, I didn't realize that they kind of look like medieval torture devices. I guess they're like hot dog cookers, like some of the, like, they're not just like what you see at a carnival or at like a 7-Eleven. Like home hot dog cookers have these like really intense, like 6 or 7 inch like spikes where like maybe that's where you cook the buns or something like that. I don't know. But if you have a hot dog cooker at home, be careful, is all I learned in my. Are you looking at hot dog cookers right now?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
what do they look like? I don't know if you're looking at the same
I
ones I
don't
found.
even know. I see one of these spiky ones that you're talking about. This is awful.
Like, what is that meant to cook? I don't know, guys. Okay, so first things first, if you ask for a hot dog cooker for Christmas, maybe rethink that shit. Or maybe just like do it, maybe you just like on a whim and just like, you know what, hot dogs at home sounds great. Maybe just do it the old-fashioned way on the stove, but speeding things up might get you one of these devices that could, could
Yeah, just
end up
literally
being a
grill is
problem.
fine. There's, like, nothing wrong with
Yes.
doing it on the grill.
Oh my God, just do it on the grill, guys. So as far as the reasonableness scale of these 3 situations, um, dude, the hot dog cooker, that sounds crazy to me. And the story, we be hearing stories in the ERs and from our patients that like don't quite add up. Um, I dropping some dropping someone from height onto the spikes of a hot dog cooker. Guys, like we don't need to be that colorful. Just tell us what was really going on. I don't quite buy that chief complaint. But I mean, finger puppet, I understand why that might have been involved in the mix. And so, as far as the reasonableness scale of these 3 chief complaints, finger puppet seems reasonable in a real world that I understand. I could see that happen.
Okay, and we just, we're different people. You guys always knew that we were different people. It has not crossed over into any modicum of reasonableness in my world.
Great. Well, we only have one more.
One more hole.
And one more
Yeah.
hole, guys.
Read them the options. Because
One more
again,
hole
I
for the
actually think
holidays.
people will side with me on this. Like,
I think people are going to
usually
side.
they
I
give
think people will be interested to hear how their friends and neighbors may be living, because these things are things that happen. But we gotta have this is how I develop empathy, is by putting myself into these situations. Frances May is different from me in that way, and that's fair. But we're gonna do this last hole. This is the rectum hole. And it's just these are just 3 chief complaints that were written down. So first one, tried to remove poop with a pen a few days ago, lost pen in rectum. Number 2, motorized tire pump inserted into her rectum and was insufflated for a duration of approximately 5 minutes. And number 3, shoved a bag containing 20 hydroxyzine pills into his rectum for street cred. Now, I think the fun part of this, when we got the actual chief complaints, is figuring out like, okay, which one's legit here? Like, what, who's just telling us a story, right? Thing number one for me, a baggie of drugs in your butthole is a tried and true trope. You've seen it on TV and in movies. It happens in real life, I'd assume. But hydroxyzine is not a street drug.
Yes.
It's an antihistamine. It's like
Like an
it's not even like
unregulated, yeah.
yeah,
And it
it's quite regulated. Like it's fine. You can find
it's like a
this.
first generation, no, it's even kind of like a shitty med too.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah, just
great.
for
Like this isn't even
yeah.
something we recommend to folks. There's no there's no reason for this to be something that needs to be trafficked, right? Like
Yeah, but
I'm
this
not
is my favorite one off the bat, I will say, because I like the quote for street cred at the end. Like I
yes.
really like that. It evokes for me the same thing as like when I see a note where they're like, patient has one goldfish. His name is Fred. I like that this was for street cred, but I agree with you. It's undermined because
Yeah,
hydroxyzine won't get you street cred.
it won't
So
get you street cred. And I don't like that's the thing. Like I don't know, maybe this is my lack of street cred. Is it possible this you do like dry runs of non-drugs just to show people like, oh yeah, I'll put stuff up my butt, that's not illegal. I'll go across state lines. If they stop me and be like, hey, man, you can get this at CVS. I don't know. I don't know how street
yeah,
cred
it's just
works
not a
these days.
crime. Like it's
It's
weird.
not what you're
It's
doing is
so
not a crime.
weird. Yeah. It's pretty weird, but yeah, it is not illegal in any way.
It sure isn't. So I don't know what kind of street cred you're getting, but that one goes kind of like down on my list of reasonableness.
The only thing
N-
that would be funnier, like to people who are listening who don't know hydroxyzine or this class of drugs, just like literally picture that it's like Zyrtec, like 20
yeah,
Zyrtecs.
like that's it. Like it's like Prilosec, like just some
Yeah.
regular ass thing you get over the counter that someone is saying, hey, I decided to bag this up for the streets. Okay, that is their justification. Doesn't hold water here on our podcast, guys. I'm sorry. Um, next, the motorized tire pump. I mean, that's a curiosity that I guess I get. Maybe you hear like, how big your colon can get and how much it can stretch, and you're just like, let me
And
see
you're
what's
like, oh,
up.
could I explode it maybe? Like
Maybe I could
I
explode.
want open abdominal surgery?
Maybe you are curious, like you got those tire pumps that tells you the actual like tire pressure as you're inflating it, and you're like, maybe that'll work in my butt. I don't think you're gonna form the seal that you think, in order to get that reading, but I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me. That seems like a silly move. Um, I don't know, and I don't know if you get even pleasure from the act because it hurts if you pump up your colon. Like it's a painful thing, but maybe that's what you're into. I think the most reasonable thing here is to try to remove poop with a pen to any like major extent. But have you had any like experience of I have had this situation because when I had my tonsils out, I got strong pain medicine, which we
Oh, you
prescribe
took
to
pain.
people fairly
Yeah.
regularly. And we always tell people take the stool softener because this can make you constipated. And so I kind of took the stool softener. I was really forgetting because of the pain medicine, because the pain medicine kind of made me fuzzy in the head. And a few days went by and I realized, hey, I gotta go poop. And then I couldn't do it. And it just got worse. And it just, felt like stuff was building up. And I've never been that painfully constipated in my life to the point like I'm barely able to walk around. And I'm like, I gotta get myself to the CVS some kind of way to like get something. Like there's like a crying desperation in terrible constipation that I can understand someone being like, listen, I got to crank this stuff out of there myself by any means necessary. And so for that reason, and in the butt for constipation, I find reasonable.
I do think it's part of like the neurodivergence, but like, yeah,
Mm,
I don't feel anything about this. I will say I haven't even ever had opioids. I have, I've had a couple procedures surgically, but not even that I think merited or that they would give me stronger pain meds for it, which is okay.
mm.
When I got my wisdom teeth out as a kid, my parents took away my pain meds. They were like, "You can't have these."
Oh,
And
man.
so I didn't. Insane holiday game created from the mind of
Of me,
a
just a
villain.
complete villain psychopath. And you know what? Guess what? You guys got to learn a little bit about, Tony's constipation journeys. I hope that it helps you feel a little less alone out there. Those of you who may who may have suffered situations like that in silence. Um, and I think, happy holidays.
And
Let's move
Ryan,
on.
hit us up with your answers,
Ryan,
because again, I know Tony
Ryan, hit us
wishes
up.
he'll be fine. He would have played with you, but it's like know your audience, know your co-host.
Well, now I know my co-host even better, and I love it, and you're the best. Let's go on to our final segment, which I think you will be able to participate in, which is the holiday movie roundup, guys. So it's the end of December, and whatever holidays you celebrate, or even if you aren't celebrating anything more than having some time off or time with or without your family, your movie choices are hopefully one thing you can rely on to bring you some joy. So today, we're going to just share our top, we don't even need to do like top 3, just like our favorite holiday movies. And I thought it'd be interesting, given how we're learning about each other, to see how much we actually do know each other. And we'll guess what the co-host's favorite holiday movie is, and then we'll share the truth, and we'll see how close or wide of the mark we are. So, how would you like to start?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll guess yours.
All right, go
Apropos
ahead.
of nothing. Die Hard.
Interesting choice. Why do you say Die Hard for me?
Is it bad if I say because you're a boy?
Yeah, I would think that I'm much more than a boy.
You're not just a boy?
4 months into our podcast here.
No, it's the culmination of multiple things, which is number 1, I don't know that many holiday movies. And number
Okay.
2, I do know that you're a boy.
That's it. Thus
That's
very
that
sound logic.
linear algorithmic thinking that I bring to every party that makes me so well
Just
loved.
makes you just a hit. Just
Am I
running
off?
things. Yes. So my favorite holiday movie is Home Alone. It's an easy one for me. I love Home Alone. I think it does get to the violent hijinks that boys find fun. It was very much came out at the perfect time in my childhood for that sort of things. And every kid kind of fantasizes about, well, not, I won't say every kid because probably won't be you, but
No.
you fantasize about, okay, like, how would I fare? If there was some villains and I was the only hope to protect my household, like, would I be able to do that? Or would I just be a 10-year-old who cried, or did the smart thing and just called the fucking cops, which he did not do. But I think it's just a wonderful holiday film, despite the child neglect and the protective services that should have been called, despite the psychopathic levels of violence that this child goes through, and should have murdered these 2 villains in his house several times over. It's holiday fun, guys. And I love Home Alone.
I respect your choice. I am going to say that that's not completely diametrically opposed to what I picked with Die Hard. Like,
Right,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
I think
the fantasy is the
that's true.
same, which is like, what if I was just chilling by myself and then like some villains appeared? Like, could I take them? Should I call the police?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
maybe
the same arc.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe there is merit to the boy stuff. I'll concede that. But my pick for you, coincidentally, was gonna be Die Hard.
What?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna come out hot with the Die Hard because I don't know. I was just like, you know what? I could see her, getting involved in some holiday, revenge. If someone like held your family members hostage, I could see you just like getting really into that sort of, premise and enjoying holiday cheer through that lens.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What if I was like, no, my real pick's Home Alone? Then that'd be unbelievable.
It'd
And
be
I don't like
unbelievable.
kids movies, so I'm not a Home Alone super fan. Um, that's very interesting. I will say I have seen Die Hard, but it is because I live with a boy, not
Boy,
because it
you
was
have
like of
boy
my own
around
volition
you.
or anything.
Uh-huh.
And it was fine. It was chill, but it's not a genre of movie I like. My favorite thing is Harry Potter, actually, and that's my Christmas time. I do all the
Good
Potters and I play
choice.
Hogwarts Legacy. I am,
Mhm.
you know, I because that's the thing, Tony. If I was faced with villains and I could take them all on alone, I would much rather be like a wizard in the wizarding world.
It's
Exactly. Like
really
I would
great.
not want to do hand-to-hand combat the way that like Die Hard, Home Alone. I definitely don't want hijinks. I don't want hand-to-hand combat. I'm anti-gun. So like I want to just legitimately be in the wizarding world.
Mm,
That's what
mm.
I choose for the holidays.
Yes. Well, I fully support that. I love Harry Potter at the holidays. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, so many of them. But like honestly, deep cut, I have a newer appreciation for 3 in the past year or 2.
That's a good choice.
Azkaban comes back around. That has its own specific director, right? It's just shot so like moody
Uh-huh.
and so dramatically. But no, I mean, I like Goblet of Fire was my favorite as a kid, but like I said, 3's more of a dark horse now. I like the ending, even though it's 2-part and such. But it's
Yeah.
pretty fun the whole
Yeah.
time,
Throughout,
honestly.
they're all tremendous. I think, yeah, like Azkaban as a film is just so beautiful. Many people agree. I really liked, and is it The Order of the Phoenix? The one with like the demon teacher, like the really mean headmistress appointed by the government
Oh,
who's
yeah,
just
she's
like tortures the
awful.
kids and stuff. Like Umbridge. Is that the one?
Yeah, Umbridge, yeah.
5? I think it might be.
Is it 5 or is it 6? I don't
It
know,
might
but
be
yeah, she
6.
gets
Yeah.
carted into the forest.
I love that movie. She's so great in that one. Um, but yeah, we got Harry Potter love, and I think Christmas time is the perfect time for that. So it makes me happy to hear your pick.
It's funny though, because I could see like if faced with an intruder, like again, my preferred way of handling it would be magic. Like I'm obviously a Hermione. I would know all the spells. In Hogwarts Legacy, I'm a big plant person. I just mostly spend time
what knowledge,
with
yeah,
with my plants and then like
sure.
fighting with the plants, killing bandits that way. But I feel like you, even now, even in a vacuum, you would pick like the hijinks method where you like knock them over the head with a bucket and stuff.
You gotta go with hijinks, I feel. Just I mean, there's so little
Inefficient?
whimsy. There's so little whimsy left in the world. And I feel that the opportunity for just like good cartoonish hijinks is just there. We just don't have it.
You can't
You
miss it.
know, you can't miss the opportunity for it. Like, when's the last time like you dropped a paint bucket on like a bad guy's head and they just like flew down some stairs and then, they had to like they're groaning like that's just, and you made it happen. You set up the contraption. Contraptions are in short supply these days. Like it's just I gotta go hijinks. I think they're really
You're
fun.
like a Rube Goldberg guy. I don't have the patience. I don't have the whimsy, but I love it because I think that that's a good. I think like for the holidays, I will set an intention, which is to entertain like 5% more whimsy, and I will keep you updated. You'll get a
Yeah,
DM in the
however it
middle of the
comes.
night if
Yeah.
I hit somebody with a paint bucket.
Perfect. I look forward to that. And guys, with that, another successful and legendary episode of Social Rounds. Merry Christmas. And Frances May, please take us out.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and check out our website, Hippocratic-Collective, for more shows and content like this. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.